All right, y'all. God damn it. I had to do the video again. Apparently the audio got cut off on the last video. Thank you guys for alerting me. Because I would have just left it up there. So let me come back in and say what I was saying before. So just really quick, if you guys didn't hear what I was talking about, the Thanksgiving thing, please go back and do your research on Thanksgiving, why you shouldn't be celebrating Thanksgiving is as it's presently constructed, because that turkey is a derogatory term towards the Moors for when they took over Spain, because the Moors bought the guinea fowl over to Spain. Then when they took over Spain, they turned the guinea fowl into the turkey because it came from Turkey. The Turks bought it. So again, you can celebrate the harvest, which is the Aboriginals. That was an Aboriginal thing long before the colonists got here. So you can celebrate the harvest. It's the fertility of Mother Earth. That's what you're celebrating. So go right ahead and do that all day long. The other thing I was talking about was the backup channel that I have. So I think that's where the video cut off. So my backup channel, just in case this one gets cut off, is going to be the Dragon Moor. There's nothing uploaded to it now. I'll upload in case if this one gets cut off. But I was saying that how YouTube's new terms of service is worded kind of shadily, where they say that if you're not financially viable, they can cut your YouTube channel. Many people have been getting cut off. Cats with 800,000 subscribers. One dude had 16 million subscribers. I think he's an Arab dude. He had like 16 million subscribers. He got cut off. This dude was sick. He got his channel back because I think he disputed the takeoff, so he got his channel back. But they were just taking people's stuff off and not telling them why they were taking it off. And I don't think they know that there's an algorithm that's going through people's stuff and scrubbing it and saying, oh, and just taking it off. And then you go and you dispute it. You talk to a real person, and then the real person actually gives it a review and uses their discretion. So that's why some people are getting it back. But they were saying that, you can get it taken off for, minor violations and things of that nature. But they've already been able to do that. They're just letting you know, putting it out there on purpose or in the front now because of the child thing. Again, if you don't know about the child thing, the COPPA, Child Online Privacy Protection Act, states that operators will be charged $42,000 for violation of the Child Protection Act. Basically, you can't collect data on anyone under the age of 13. And so if your channels are geared towards children, YouTube has an algorithm that's taking information from your channel as you're showing your videos and, to collect data for advertising. So they have to label. Now they want you to label the video because they're supposed to do it. The FBI came down on them hard, or the State Department came down on them hard, Justice Department, and so they were like, okay, well, we're just gonna pass the buck over to the creators. So they know you don't know the law, and creator or owner of a channel is much different than the term operator that's in the law. An operator, the term, when you go look up the law, operator means a person who runs a website or someone who collects data, which would only be YouTube. So they're the only ones liable for the $42,000 fine. But what they can do is mess you over. And if you mess them over, they can just kick your whole channel off. And so some people got their lives behind this. You know what I'm saying? This has become their jobs. This is their careers. And they're wiping people out, and people are getting crazy and sick. So, that's basically what that's about. If you have a channel and you're not geared towards kids, you're fine. You don't have, but if you have content in there that may be geared towards children under the age of 13, you got to assess your video and say, well, even though it may not be geared for kids, if it has information in there that kids are attracted to under the age of 12, then you might want to put, yeah, it's for kids. Because if you don't, you got to label it like that. Then they're liable for the 42,000, and they'll just kick you off. So that's what that's about. And so that's after December 10th, they're going to start taking the channels off. And so just to make sure, you know, if you do have a channel, excuse me, if you do have a channel, man, just don't get scared with all the hype. There's like a million videos out there talking about how people's channels gonna get taken down, but they don't really know, they don't understand the law. And this is what I was getting at. This is the whole video, or why I was doing this video today, was to I'm stressing the law. Y'all got to learn the law, goddammit. It is of the utmost importance. I'm going to keep drilling that into y'all head. Excuse me. I'm going to keep drilling it into your head until you understand, until you do it. Oh, real quick, shout out to the Patreon people who just signed up for the status classes on Patreon, to the higher levels. Just make sure for your one-on-one session, just make sure you get at me. Let me know when you want to have that session and we can set it up. And just real quick for the people, if you sign up for Patreon to the higher levels, at the $50 level, you get a one-on-one session with me 1 month. If you sign up to the $100 level, you get 2. And to the top level, where you get the status classes and the paperwork, and you get 4 sessions with me a month, so that you can break down the law and everything about what you need to understand and go do. All right, so that's patreon.com/Reelnagas. Also, I'm going to be doing the basic law classes on there, the police stop law. So, you know, the stuff that just the basic stuff that they charge you with, or that they walk up with you and they use as an excuse in order to enact with you. So, but you don't know stuff like disorderly conduct and disturbing the peace and all this and that type of stuff. So, you know, they charge you with these things because when they mess with you, they have to give a reason for why they take you in, why they're arresting you, because they'll just threaten to arrest. They'll threaten to arrest you at any moment for whatever, and they know that you don't know any of the charges, so they'll just say, "Oh, we'll just get them on a regular disorderly," or, you know, get them for, you know, disturbing the peace, or, you know, even if you're cursing at a police officer, you know, they'll get you for something like that. But you don't know you can curse at a police officer. That's absolutely legal. You can. The Supreme Court has ruled cursing at a police officer, First Amendment speech. And so you can curse at a police officer. You can say, F, you know what I'm saying, F the police. You right in his face. Just like the Black Panthers. See, it's about the law. These movements that you have out here, you know what I'm saying, they need to understand the law, like the Black Panthers did. That's why they were able to, you know, fuck you pig, or F you pig. And, you know what I'm saying, they were seriously about, they knew that they can talk that way with a gun on their back. They could talk that way to the police officer, and the police officer couldn't do anything to them because that was First Amendment speech. So, but you have to know the law to do that. And that was the other reason I'm getting ready. I did this video because I'm doing a documentary right now. I'm about halfway through writing it. It should be done in a couple of days with the writing, and then the editing and everything should be done in another week. So this is the history of the law, why you need to learn the law, you know, that it comes from you, you know, all the way back to the ancient times, so when you created it, and what it can do for you, because you really don't understand that it is the top level of the game. It is a matter of life and death that you learn it. You've tried everything else but the law. Every other you know, melanated leader who's come through the past, you know, they've all dabbled with it, or, you know, they messed around with wanting the system to protect their rights without learning, you know what I'm saying, without learning what their rights are. You got to go read the law, learn what your rights are, so that you learn how to protect them. So, you know, that's the top level of the game, and that's the documentary I'm doing. Excuse me, that's the documentary I'm doing right now, and I'm taking my time with it because it has to deal with, you know, spiritual law as well as man-made law. Because man-made law, you guys don't know, these cats in these secret societies, you know, behind these closed doors, you know, they're reading these books, they're reading the Kabbalion and stuff like that, and they're mimicking spiritual law, you know, they're man-made law with spiritual law. And if you don't know one, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be lacking in the other. You have to combine the two. It's the yin and yang, and then you'll be balanced in your understanding of how to move within the law, spiritually and physically. So that's the documentary I'm doing right now. Like I said, it's getting good. It's flowing through. The universe is just sending the information. Again, I don't write this stuff. I just channel it through the universe. So just getting ready for that. And the reason you need to understand about that is because Operation Iron Fist. This is the main reason actually making this video. So Operation Iron Fist. If you understand, or if you know about the black identity extremists that the FBI named anybody who has a connection to being pro-black, what they snuck in that program, or in that doctrine, was something called Operation Iron Fist. Now we talked about this on the Zoe What Show a few weeks ago, and the Young Turks were the one who discovered it. One of the reporters at the Young Turks, it was an exclusive. He was the only one. He went in there and found it, because what they understood was the true black identity extremists. The threat wasn't you going to kill anyone. It was the threat of you coming together and separating from the system of America. So that's the true threat. You guys unity, coming together. They fear that. So, you guys don't see this on the back end, but there's a lot of groups out there sending paperwork into the government. You got the Moors and excuse me, you got Moors and Hebrew Israelites and all these different sovereign groups. And I mean, you got so many people just inundating the government with all this different paperwork talking about separating from the government, and I don't want to be a part of your government anymore. That will collapse the system if too many people remove themselves from the government. So that, especially you melanated people, because you spend more money than anybody in the government. So that's why they called it the black identity extremists. But within that, they created something called Operation Iron Fist. And that's like COINTELPRO, what they had to destroy all the black activist groups from the 60s and 70s, which J. Edgar Hoover made. So basically they send in an agent within these movements, and to cause strife between all these different movements. And look at it right now. This whole reparations movement, excuse me, which is just a distraction, you guys have to see, is because it's an illusion. Reparations does not exist. It's illegal. The Supreme Court has already ruled against it. That the government cannot create a racial specific program, because it goes against the 14th Amendment of equal protection, or equal protection of the laws. So if you give one race one thing, you got to give it to everybody, and you would open the floodgates up for lawsuits, because the Supreme Court had also ruled that reverse discrimination, that they got, that white people or Caucasians or anybody who feel that they got reverse discrimination, they got a great leeway in coming in and putting on lawsuits against reverse discrimination. Who was the reverse discrimination against? Only you, melanated people, because you're the only one who had affirmative action legislation. So they've already ruled against reparations in that form. You can't come back in a racial specific program and get any type of compensation from the government. It has to be across the board. So again, that's the Supreme Court case, meaning it's not going to happen. But what they're doing on the back end, while you over here arguing and strifing about reparations, and you got all these different lettered organizations going around, and y'all fighting, and y'all know who y'all are, and what you don't understand is the strife that's being caused within these groups to keep you guys distracted and fighting and arguing is possibly and most likely a lot that Operation Iron Fist, because most of these movements are new, because the reparations has just gotten a big light on it because of the election. But it's only gotten the light because of the election, because it is distraction. You don't see any other the politicians, they're going to tell you that they can't do reparations because it's illegal. They're not going to tell you that. They'll just dance around the issue for until the election happens, and then you're going to see this shit go away. But while you were doing that, you know what Trump is doing? He's gotten over 330-something judges elected to the federal seat. Over 300 judges. Y'all don't know about this. And they're going to be implementing the laws against you. Who you think they're going to be mashing on the law against? That's for his people. He's putting his people on these benches. Over 300 judges, and these are for life. Federal judgeships are for life, y'all. They ain't leaving till they croak. And you don't think you need to learn the law? This is what's going on the back end. Y'all think Trump is some crazy nigga who combing over his hair, got no hair, and talking crazy and you know tapping porn stars. Y'all don't get it. Y'all don't know who his family is. Trump's sister is a federal judge and been a federal judge for 20-something years, appointed by Clinton, which Hillary Clinton and is Bush's cousin. I mean, Hillary Clinton is Trump's cousin. Y'all better get this straight, man. His sister is a big major corporation CEO who has major ties with the government, which is him. So y'all better get this straight. While y'all sitting up here talking about some crazy ass bullshit reparations that don't even exist, that they can't even implement because it's unconstitutional and the Supreme Court has ruled against it. And y'all just gonna waste y'all energy doing that. They're implementing 300 and something judges against y'all. That's gonna mash the law against you unless you know the law. This is life and death right now, man. Y'all been getting mashed without that. So y'all better get it together, man. And so the other thing I want to talk to y'all about was there's some things going on. So you guys arguing over the reparations thing. What you really need to understand is they have all of your inheritance and the things that the reparations that you do want is in the what is called the Bureau of Indian Affairs. They're holding hundreds of millions of acres of land and money and resources till you come back and get it. Period. They're holding it. They're like, yeah, we'll make money off of it as long as y'all don't come back. We'll keep they don't want it, y'all. We'll keep making money off of it until you come back. And why wouldn't they? But they've used the word in trust, but you don't know what that means because you guys don't know trust law. Trust law is very specific. When they use the word trust and trustee, that means they don't own it. They can't own it. It means they're holding it for someone else. When something is in a trust, the trust is holding property, physical, tangible goods for someone else. And the trustee administrates those goods for the beneficiary, right? The U.S. government is the trustee for the beneficiary, you, the Aboriginal, who really is the indigenous and owners of the land. But you don't know that. But you do. You know who did know that? The Tulsa, Oklahoma people. Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Black Wall Street, y'all don't even know the people who got Black Wall Street, they got that land because they went and got it from the government from being Aboriginals, from claiming Native American. They're tribes. But what they'll tell you when you go back and look it up in history, they'll say that they were held slaves. They were being held slaves by the tribes, and then the tribes assimilate them and just adopted them into their tribe and then set them free. And they were slaves with the tribe. The tribe adopted them and let them free, and they became honorary members of the tribe. And then they went to the government and got land put on the Dawes Roll, which basically was apportioning individual Native American land to individual Native Americans. So, but that's not what happened. They got the land because they were Aboriginals. All the Indian nations before them were all Aboriginals, look just like us. They weren't adopted into the tribe. That was their actual heritage. They went and got land, and look what they did with that land. Black Wall Street. Man, it's already there for y'all. It's sitting right there for y'all. All you got to do is go take it, but you got to learn the law, man. I promise you. And so, just basic laws so you can move around. Again, the laws, the basic stuff that they use to charge you with in order to harass you, just those little stuff right there. If you learn to combat that would alleviate so much fear and so much anguish between you, because you know, they know that you don't know anything. And so they'll come up and just use bullshit just to harass you. And boom, once they got you, once they got the interaction, then it's over, because you're scared. You don't know what to do. You start talking too much. Then they start talking and trying to get more out of you. And then and it just goes to shit. So please, man, please start learning this law. And, you know, again, I'm saying, you know, we got the Know Your Rights cards. You have to get the Know Your Rights cards. If you don't, you got to, first of all, you need to learn the law. But, you know, in the interim, until you don't know the law, you can hand police these Know Your Rights cards and the Know Your Rights manual. And to show you guys that we're on this Know Your Rights thing, man, you got to have it. So if you order this, the Great Book of Melanin Research, from now on, this is the deal. You order the Great Book of Melanin Research, the hard copy, I'll give you for free the digital copy, which means you can mail it to your family members and friends so they can get the information too. But then I'm also going to give you the Know Your Rights cards, and I'm going to give you the Know Your Rights manual for free. All of that for free. The digital copy of the Melanin book, the Know Your Rights manual, and the card for free, as well as 3 status classes. All right, so there's no excuses for you not to learn the law. The universe is sending this to you, so you can't be like, well, nobody ever came and tried to teach me the law, man. No, it's right here. And it's up to you to grab the damn baton and take it and run with it. Nobody's going to come force feed you anything. That's not how information works. Information is for the seeker, not the teacher. If you're truly seeking, then you got to go get it. If you're starving and I come and I tell you, hey, they're serving, you know, steaks if you eat beef, but I'm telling you, they're serving steaks and hamburgers and chicken across the street, and you tell me, well, can you grab my hand and walk me across the street because this car is coming? Hell no. You ain't hungry enough. I'm not walking you across the street. You said you starving. I just told you where food is. It's the people over there eating. They've been eating. They eating good. And all you got to do is cross your ass, find a way to get across that damn street and go eat. And you want me to walk in and hold your hand? Nah, that's not going to happen. You ain't hungry enough. That's not going to happen. So, but I'm leaving it for you. I got it out here for you. I got the status classes. You got the basic law. Go watch the if you haven't seen it, the Police Law 101 with Officer Trey. You know, it's a long little lecture and episode, but man, we're dropping jewels in there. And then he gets to the part where he talks about how you have to have a police bond. You have to have a surety bond. Each police officer has to have that bond. And if they don't have the bond, then they cannot work. This is a police officer telling you that, an on-duty police officer. He was on duty sitting in his police car when he was telling us this, if y'all don't know. So again, the information is out there for the use. You just have to grab it. All right. And nobody's going to grab it for you. You got to do it for you and your family. Get together in 2s, 3s, 4s, learn this information, set up times 1, 2, 3 times a week, and just go over information. It doesn't have to be a lot at first, just little stuff. Get your dictionaries, get your Black's Law dictionaries, get your Constitution, stuff like that, and just start going over that stuff. And man, you got my channel, you got me, hit me up for if you need to know anything, but you got to start knowing the law. It is the pinnacle of what you need to learn. Anything else you think you need to learn, you don't need to be learning that until you learn the law, and how to express and exert your rights and flex your rights. All right. So at that point, I'm got to get back and start making this dang documentary and writing this documentary. I appreciate y'all. Make sure if you want to start the basic law classes over at Patreon, get over and sign up for that. I'll be starting that within the middle of next month or towards the beginning of January, because it has to go down. 2020, you gonna learn the law. You gonna learn the law in 2020. God damn it, I ain't taking no excuses. You understand me? You gonna learn. It's imperative. You got to learn it. You gonna learn it, and I'm here to teach it to you. All right, and I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Peace.